Hey everybody, hey, how are you? Good evening. If you're on the Western Hemisphere, it is a good evening at this point, because it's dark out. What would you consider is the time to say good evening? The time it is, or the time of daylight? Who knows? But here it's good evening, because it's dark out, and it is 5:30, so at least an early evening to most, and good to the rest. I'm going to try my hand at a little live chess right now. I play a lot of correspondence on this video blog, if you will, vlog, as some like to call it. And I'm hoping I can liven things up a little bit with some live chats. Now, here's the big question that everyone's asking. Is it going to go chess.com or lichess.org? Well, I'm going to first try lichess.org. Chess.com has the largest membership because it is one of the most popular. And hey, if you want to play chess and you type in chess.com, it comes up. lichess.org, who's going to think of adding an li, and who's going to think of making it an org for that matter? But it's a wonderful site, and it has a fair amount of membership. Currently, right now, there are 2,000 players. Now that I believe are players who have registered, but if you see, that number goes up and down. And currently, right now, there's almost about 8,000 players, or 8,000 games that is in play. Now, if there are 8,000 games in play, that means there are 16,000 players playing right now. So that is right up around where the current number of players are registered. So we're going to try a quick game. As you see, I have a 1-minute bullet. Oh boy. That's not about playing well. It's about playing fast. Same with the 2-minute, with a 1-second incremental. 3-minute blitz. I usually play most of my blitz games in around 3 minutes. A 3-minute, 2-second incremental gives you a little comfortable freedom, if you will, in the end game, when moving fast can actually help you. If you move quicker than 2 seconds, you'll gain 2 seconds. Well, you'll gain the difference of the time you spent plus those 2 seconds. 5-minute straight blitz can be brutal. A 5-3, very fun. 5-5 is more traditional. I'm surprised it's not here. We have a 10-minute straight rapid, but what we're going to do, we'll do that. I usually do a 15-minute, 10-second incremental. lichess.org doesn't have that as a quick set. I can go to custom, and in custom I can do a real-time 15-10 as it is here. We'll try that first, but not everyone's doing a custom game. Some are just looking for those quick ones as far as what's being posted and is available. That's not that big of a deal, because I can make a custom one, and if someone wants to play it, they'll play it. I play this in my club. Yeah, we got one right away. A lot of people do like this. What's nice about a 15-10 game is it can easily go 4 to 5 minutes, sometimes an hour. Your average game is about 50 moves. So 50 times 15 is, let me think if I do my math right, 650 seconds, which is a minute. So that increases things there. So your 15-minute game with your opponent isn't going to be just 30 minutes, because because each of you has 15 minutes. That incremental clock does come into play. It's usually used to its greatest advantage in the end game when you need time to think, and but you can also move quickly because there's not too many pieces, hopefully, left on the board. I've lost games against players because of incremental clock, and I've won games for the same reason. Okay, that is a very strange move for him. So I'm just going to make a It's under tempo, very much so. So it affords me the ability to make a similar under tempo move, which might be helpful in positional opposition in that part of the board. For example, if he moves b5 and I capture a takes b, if he captures a takes b, I can win a rook. So my opponent's rated 1232, I'm rated 1456. Don't always assume that the rating you see is how they play. There's a term called sandbagging. That's where a player plays at a much stronger rating than their assigned official number in a organization like USCF, the United States Chess Federation, or FIDE, the International Federation of Chess, or any particular correspondence website or live chess website like lhs.org, chess.com. There are numerous. So he does make a mistake of moving that pawn, but he doesn't follow it up, which is interesting. Now I realize I left my pawn at e4 hanging, but that might not be a big deal. Now with this weird double file, double stacked pawns, if you will, I have pawns on the B and the C file above my original starting position pawns on the B and the C file. I've not moved those original pawns. Those pawns that have become stacked were the result of attacking pawns that were undefended of his on adjacent files. The D file takes the C pawn originally before, in this game, my A file pawn took his pawn on the B file. Stacked pawns are bad, but when you can win them without contention, they're not going to really compromise your position while compromising, let's say, your tempo. Tempo is very complex. It's mostly about position development over the course of time. Whoever can develop a position faster is usually afforded the opportunity if they have tempo. White starts with tempo because they move first. It's sort of like move order, if you will. Now his pawn move to pawn to f5. I mean, yes, it defends his bishop at e4, but I wasn't attacking it. So in terms of positional development, it's questionable. Is it under tempo? Maybe. It could be preemptive, which is always a possible case. But it doesn't really focus any attention to what seems to be the matter at hand right now at the board. So, that move right there, I don't care about the pawn at c5. I won that position without contention. I can lose that pawn. I'm not going to drop lower than a +1 on material advantage. And here I actually took one pawn and made it to two things. You know, it secured its original position and then attacked and captured a new position, which is now defended securely. So it's like he just lost a pawn without any contention. That can be an issue in some games, just like dropping a bishop or dropping a knight without contention is a big issue. This is a minor one that can turn into a big one later, especially considering the advancement of my queenside pawns. Neither of us have castled. We're probably both going to castle king's side. So I already have a very strong attack on his queen side. Okay, so that move is nice. It locks his isolated pawn's progression on the c-file. It opens up a diagonal for my queen to b3. Now, he is attacking my rook. I can do something pretty simplistic like this. Interpose. Bishop has it defended. I don't want to stack pawns, and I want to free up my queen to move to b3. So the threat of black's light squared bishop taking my knight is now defended with the bishop at e2, and I don't have to capture back with my pawn at g2, which would stack pawns on my f-file. So now we're free to do two things. We can move the queen, or we can castle first. Now he's under tempo on castling on the king's side. He's got to get that knight over there at g8, most likely to f6, though playing it to e7 is an option. So I feel that's okay and free. The next turn I can castle on my next move, and I castle ahead of tempo, if you will. Because black can't castle yet. Now black can make a move to be able to castle right behind me. Chooses not to. So I'm going to go ahead and castle. Now we're going to try to take advantage of this castling positional tempo advantage and let pieces get freed up. So now the knight's no longer necessary there. Sadly, I can't move anywhere except back to e1 without losing it. So not the best option for my knight. He's opted to attack my king's side. Considering that I castled, it's not a bad idea at all. But I'm going to play a little under tempo because I'm way ahead already, and I'm white. So I can play a little like black does sometimes. Typically, I never bring my knights to the first rank with white, or in the case of black would be to the 8th rank. I never bring my knights to the home rank. I also almost never bring my knights to the rim. there are reasons why. Mostly, the knight's movement ability is diminished by half if you go to the edge of the board, and is reduced by a quarter if you go to the corner. A knight can normally move to 8 squares. On the edge of the board, whether it's on the rim, home rank, or on the side, it can only go to 4 squares, so that's half. In the corner, the knight can only move to 2 squares, so its movement ability has been reduced by a quarter. Okay, this is a nice little move. I take back, and I attack his rook at h8. He may not see it, hopefully. He does, though. I didn't think he wouldn't. One nice thing about that is it opens up the square at c2 to develop my knight that had to fall back to the home rank. Back rank, home rank, whatever you want to call it. Oh, interesting. It's going to apply considerable pressure, probably with a move like pawn to f3. Chooses not to. This might give me an advantage. I'm hoping. I can sacrifice a piece if I can promote. I'd easily do that, especially if it's something like a knight or a bishop. Hell, I'd do it if it was, mind my language, if it was a rook. I might even do it in some instances if it was a queen. Considering I'll probably promote to a queen. I'm going to continue to play it on the risky side. If you notice, my attack is completely on the queen side. His is a concentrated attack on the king side, which is logical considering I castled king side. He's yet to castle and can no longer do so, but his king seems pretty comfortable right there in its original position that it starts in, on the center file at e8. Interestingly, though, no one's defending it anymore. So I can promote without worry of losing my promoted queen. This also gives check, and hopefully gives me a slight tempo advantage of resolving the problem he presented me with by moving his knight to b4. I would love if he moves his king to d7, but I doubt he will. Though even if he did, it might not have helped, because he could interpose with the bishop or the knight if I give check by moving my queen to a4. I hope he hasn't decided to abandon the game. I would hate to make you guys wait for 7 minutes while you listen to me droll on. Okay, interesting. Not the best idea for him. Gives check, look at that. And he can't bring his queen to d4 to defend the promoting square. His knight's nowhere near being in range, nor is any other of his other pieces. Humbly spoken, this is pure annihilation. He has to interpose with his queen now. No, he can move his king to g5. That wouldn't help his queen situation anymore. Maybe a little. He could at least win a rook for a queen. I apologize if my opponent's going to make us wait. He's left the game. Thanks for the game, guys. Have a good night.